How does a voice that once defined the sound of a generation echo through time, leaving behind a legacy of love, resilience, and fortune? Diana Ross, the legendary icon who rose from Detroit's humble beginnings to global superstardom, has lived a life filled with extraordinary highs and deeply personal challenges. But how did she build a financial empire that continues to grow even today? What sacrifices did she make to balance fame, family, and fortune? And why does her story leave her family and fans filled with such emotion? Let's dive into the life and legacy of Diana Ross. Diana Ross was born on March 26, 1944, in Detroit, Michigan, during a time of change and hope as the world emerged from the shadows of World War II. Her story begins in the Brewster Douglas housing projects, Detroit's largest housing complex, where she grew up in a bustling environment filled with the energy of a city at the heart of the American automobile industry. Despite the struggles of living in a working-class family, young Diana found joy and escape in music, her natural talent shining through even in her earliest years. From a young age, Diana was captivated by the sounds of jazz and rhythm and blues, which often played on the family radio. She developed a love for singing, imitating her idols Billie Holiday and Sarah Vaughan. Her family, although not wealthy, nurtured her passion. Encouraged by her mother Ernestine, she joined the church choir where her voice began to stand out. It was in this community setting that Diana started to dream beyond the confines of Detroit, imagining a life where her voice could take her to places she had never seen. As she grew older, Diana's ambitions became more focused. She attended Cass Technical High School, a magnet school known for fostering talent in the arts. Here, her confidence blossomed as she performed at school events, captivating audiences with her charisma and ability to bring songs to life. However, her journey to stardom was not without its challenges. Detroit in the 1950s and 1960s was a tough place, especially for a young African-American girl trying to break into the entertainment industry. Yet, Diana's determination never wavered. In 1960, Diana's life changed when she joined a group called the Primettes, which would later evolve into the legendary Supremes. Alongside her friends Mary Wilson, Florence Ballard, and Betty McGlown, Diana began performing at local talent shows and parties. The group's sound was raw and unpolished, but their potential was undeniable. Diana quickly established herself as the standout performer, her voice carrying an emotional depth that set her apart. It wasn't long before the Primettes caught the attention of Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown Records. Gordy was building an empire that would come to define the sound of the 1960s, and he saw something special in Diana and her group. After convincing them to change their name to the Supremes and replacing McGlown with Barbara Martin, Gordy signed the group to Motown. But success didn't come overnight. The Supremes struggled to find their footing, releasing several singles that failed to make an impact. During this period, Diana juggled rehearsals with working as a seamstress, never allowing setbacks to deter her. In 1963, everything changed. The Supremes released "Where Did Our Love Go?", their first #1 hit, and the song marked the beginning of their meteoric rise. Diana's voice became the signature sound of the group, blending vulnerability with power in a way that captivated audiences. Over the next few years, the Supremes became Motown's crown jewel, churning out hit after hit, including "Baby Love", "Stop", "In the Name of Love", and "You Can't Hurry Love". With each success, Diana's fame grew. Her elegant style and magnetic stage presence made her a fashion icon, setting trends with her glamorous gowns and hairstyles. The group's popularity crossed racial boundaries, a significant achievement during a time of social unrest in America. Diana and the Supremes represented hope and progress, their music becoming the soundtrack to a generation yearning for change. However, the pressures of fame began to take their toll. As Diana emerged as the group's lead singer and public face, tensions simmered within the Supremes. Mary Wilson and Florence Ballard felt sidelined, and the group dynamic began to shift. By the late 1960s, the cracks were evident, and Diana faced a difficult decision. She had dreams of a solo career, ambitions that extended beyond the boundaries of a group. In 1970, Diana officially left the Supremes, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in her life. The transition was bittersweet. While the group had been her stepping stone to success, it was clear that Diana was ready to step into the spotlight on her own terms. The announcement sent shockwaves through the music industry. But for Diana, it was a necessary step to fully realize her potential. Leaving the Supremes was a gamble. Diana knew she was taking a risk, but she also knew that her voice, her presence, and her ambition were powerful enough to stand alone. As she embarked on her solo journey, the world watched with bated breath, wondering if she could replicate the success she had achieved with the group. For Diana, the pressure was immense, but so was her determination. Diana Ross had embarked on a solo journey that was as thrilling as it was daunting. The world watched as she transitioned from being the lead singer of the Supremes to carving out her identity as a solo artist. This was no easy feat, but Diana was no stranger to challenges. Her first solo album, released in 1970, was a bold declaration that she was ready to stand on her own, featuring hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough. The album showcased her vocal range and emotional depth in a way that reaffirmed her place in the music industry. The song became an instant classic, earning her her first Grammy nomination and setting the stage for what would be an extraordinary solo career. The success of her debut album was just the beginning. Diana's ability to reinvent herself and connect with audiences on a deeper level became her hallmark. Each album she released during the 1970s brought with it a unique flavor, solidifying her status as a solo icon. She was no longer just a part of the Motown machine. She was Diana Ross, a name that carried weight and resonance across the globe. Her live performances during this period were electrifying, with fans flocking to see her charisma and energy light up the stage. These concerts weren't just events, they were experiences that left audiences in awe. However, Diana's ambitions extended beyond music. In 1972, she made her acting debut in the biographical film Lady Sings the Blues, portraying Billie Holiday. The role was a natural fit for Diana, as Holiday was one of her greatest influences. The film was a critical and commercial success, earning Diana an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. This marked a significant milestone, not just for her career, but for African-American actresses, as Diana broke barriers in an industry that had long been dominated by limited representation. Her performance was widely praised, and her ability to convey vulnerability and strength resonated deeply with audiences. Diana didn't stop there. She followed up her acting debut with roles in films like Mahogany, 1975, a rags-to-riches story that mirrored elements of her own life, and The Wiz, 1978, a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz. While not all her films achieved the same level of critical acclaim as her first, they showcased her versatility and willingness to take risks. These projects reflected Diana's relentless drive to explore new creative avenues and expand her artistic repertoire. By the late 1970s, Diana was an undisputed global superstar. Her music career was flourishing, with chart-topping hits like Love Hangover and Upside Down. And her film work had further solidified her place as a cultural icon. Yet, amid all this success, Diana remained grounded in her commitment to her family. Her children were always at the center of her world, and she made it a priority to balance her demanding career with being a present and supportive mother. This balancing act was not without its challenges, but Diana's determination to provide a stable and loving environment for her family never wavered. As the 1980s dawned, Diana made another bold move. She left Motown Records, the label that had been her home for 2 decades, and signed a lucrative contract with RCA Records. This decision was monumental, signaling her desire for greater creative freedom and financial independence. The move paid off, as her RCA debut album, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, 1981, was a commercial success, featuring hits that further cemented her reputation as a versatile and innovative artist. Despite her busy schedule, Diana continued to nurture her passion for performing live. Her concerts became grander and more elaborate, reflecting her love for theatrics and showmanship. Whether it was a packed arena or an intimate venue, Diana had the ability to captivate her audience, making each performance feel personal and unforgettable. Her energy and enthusiasm were infectious, and her ability to connect with fans of all ages and backgrounds was unparalleled. Yet, even as she enjoyed unparalleled success, Diana faced her share of struggles. The pressures of fame, the demands of maintaining her career, and the scrutiny of the media took their toll. Diana's journey was not without setbacks, but what set her apart was her resilience. She faced challenges head-on, using them as fuel to push herself further and prove that she could overcome anything life threw at her. As the 1980s progressed, Diana's influence extended beyond music and film. She became a fashion icon, known for her bold and glamorous style that inspired countless fans. From her signature sequined gowns to her voluminous hairstyles, Diana's look was as iconic as her voice. She embraced her status as a trendsetter, using her platform to celebrate individuality and self-expression. This was a message that resonated deeply, especially with women who saw Diana as a symbol of empowerment and strength. The decade also saw Diana becoming more involved in philanthropic efforts. She used her platform to advocate for causes close to her heart, from supporting underprivileged communities to raising awareness about HIV, AIDS. Diana's commitment to giving back reflected her belief that success was not just about personal achievements, but about making a positive impact on the world. These efforts earned her widespread admiration and cemented her reputation as not just an entertainer, but a role model and humanitarian. By the end of the 1980s, Diana Ross had achieved more than most could dream of in a lifetime. She was a music legend, a film star, a fashion icon, and a mother who had built a strong and loving family. Yet, her journey was far from over. Diana's story was one of constant reinvention and resilience, a testament to her unwavering determination and boundless creativity. As she prepared to enter a new decade, the world waited to see what this extraordinary woman would accomplish next. As the 1990s began, Diana Ross found herself at a crossroads. The music industry was evolving rapidly, and while her legacy as a trailblazer was secure, she was determined to remain relevant in a world that's constantly changing. True to her nature, Diana embraced the challenge with grace and determination. She started the decade by focusing on live performances, proving that her magnetic stage presence could still captivate audiences across the globe. Her tours during this time were nothing short of legendary. Diana's concerts weren't merely shows, they were celebrations of her remarkable career. From intimate venues to sold-out arenas, her performances highlighted her greatest hits while also showcasing her ability to adapt to the changing musical landscape. Whether singing soulful ballads or high-energy disco classics, Diana's voice carried the same emotional power that had first captured the world's attention decades earlier. Despite the glitz and glamour of her career, Diana faced personal and financial challenges during the 1990s. Managing her wealth became increasingly complex as she navigated the expenses of maintaining her lavish lifestyle and supporting her family. The economic realities of being a global superstar came into sharp focus, and Diana made deliberate efforts to stabilize her finances. She turned her attention to real estate investments, purchasing properties that not only reflected her taste for luxury, but also served as sound financial ventures. These strategic moves would prove critical in preserving her fortune for the future. Her family remained a constant source of inspiration and strength. Diana's role as a mother was one she cherished deeply, and she worked tirelessly to ensure her children had a stable and loving upbringing. Balancing the demands of her career with her responsibilities at home was no easy task, but Diana's determination to be present in her children's lives never wavered. Her efforts paid off as her children began to carve their own paths, inspired by the example she had set. In addition to her financial and familial responsibilities, Diana continued to be a force for positive change. Her philanthropic work expanded during this time, with her involvement in various charitable causes gaining more prominence. From supporting education initiatives to advocating for the arts, Diana used her platform to give back to the community. Her commitment to making a difference reinforced her belief that true success wasn't just about personal achievement, but also about uplifting others. The late 1990s brought one of the most memorable moments of Diana's career. Her iconic Central Park concert in 1983, which had already been a significant highlight, was revisited in retrospectives and celebrated for its cultural impact. The concert, famously performed in a torrential downpour, had solidified Diana's status as a performer who would stop at nothing to connect with her audience. This period of reflection allowed her to take stock of her incredible journey while also looking forward to new opportunities. As the 2000s approached, Diana Ross once again demonstrated her ability to reinvent herself. Her return to the studio resulted in albums that blended her classic sound with contemporary influences, appealing to both longtime fans and a new generation. She embraced collaborations with younger artists, lending her voice and wisdom to projects that bridged the gap between eras. These collaborations not only kept Diana's music fresh, but also highlighted her willingness to evolve and remain a relevant force in the industry. Her live performances also continued to be a major draw. Audiences marveled at her ability to command the stage with the same energy and charisma that had defined her earlier years. Her tours were meticulously crafted to celebrate her legacy, while also showcasing her ongoing passion for music. Diana's enduring appeal lay in her ability to connect with people, making every performance feel personal and heartfelt. Through it all, Diana's focus on her family remained steadfast. As her children grew older, she took pride in watching them pursue their dreams and establish themselves in their own right. Diana's role as a matriarch became increasingly important, and she worked to ensure that the values she held dear, integrity, resilience, and generosity, were passed down to the next generation. Her influence extended beyond her immediate family, as she continued to inspire countless fans with her grace and determination. The 1990s and early 2000s were a testament to Diana Ross's unwavering commitment to excellence, both professionally and personally. Despite the challenges she faced, she emerged stronger and more determined than ever. Her story was one of perseverance, adaptability, and an unrelenting passion for her craft. As she entered a new chapter of her life, Diana's focus remained on what mattered most: her family, her music, and her legacy. The world had watched her rise, overcome, and thrive, and it was clear that her journey was far from over. Diana Ross was not just a legend. She was an icon whose light continued to shine brightly. As the new millennium unfolded, Diana Ross embraced a period of reinvention and reflection. Her career, spanning decades, had already cemented her as one of the most iconic figures in music and entertainment. Yet, Diana was not one to rest on her laurels. With her enduring drive and passion, she set her sights on continuing to evolve, both as an artist and as a person. The early 2000s saw Diana returning to the studio with a renewed sense of purpose. She released new music that blended her signature sound with modern influences, ensuring her work resonated with both loyal fans and younger audiences discovering her for the first time. These projects showcased Diana's adaptability, proving that her voice and artistry could transcend generational boundaries. Her albums during this period were more than just music. They were declarations of her relevance and her unyielding commitment to her craft. Her live performances remained a cornerstone of her career. Diana's tours during this time were masterclasses in showmanship, filled with energy, emotion, and a deep connection to her audience. Each concert was a celebration of her legacy, as she effortlessly weaved through her vast catalog of hits while still managing to surprise with fresh interpretations and occasional new material. Fans left her shows inspired, reminded of why Diana Ross was a name that resonated across generations. Beyond the stage and studio, Diana became increasingly focused on her family. Her children had grown into adults, embarking on their own careers and building lives shaped by the values she had instilled in them. Diana's pride in their achievements was evident in her unwavering support for their endeavors. Whether it was cheering them on at events or offering advice, she remained a constant presence in their lives. Her role as a mother had always been one of her greatest priorities, and now, as her family expanded with grandchildren, that role took on even more significance. This era also saw Diana solidifying her legacy in ways that went beyond her immediate family. She took an active role in preserving her history, working on projects that celebrated her contributions to music and culture. Documentaries, tributes, and retrospectives highlighted the impact she had made, not just as a performer, but as a pioneer who had broken barriers and inspired countless artists. These projects were not only a testament to her career, but also a gift to her fans, offering a deeper understanding of the woman behind the music. Financially, Diana demonstrated a savvy that had long been a hallmark of her success. She diversified her investments, ensuring that her wealth would remain secure for generations to come. Her real estate ventures, including properties in some of the most desirable locations, continued to appreciate in value. Diana approached her financial decisions with the same care and precision she brought to her artistry, recognizing the importance of planning for the future while enjoying the fruits of her labor. Yet, even as she focused on her legacy, Diana remained deeply connected to the present. She collaborated with younger artists, lending her voice and wisdom to projects that bridge the gap between past and present. These partnerships were a reflection of Diana's belief in the power of collaboration and her willingness to embrace new ideas. For her, music was never just about nostalgia. It was about growth, innovation, and staying true to the essence of who she was. Diana's philanthropic efforts also reached new heights during this time. She championed causes close to her heart, using her platform to advocate for issues ranging from education to healthcare. Her commitment to giving back was unwavering, and she worked tirelessly to ensure that her influence made a positive impact on the world. For Diana, success was never solely measured by accolades or financial gains. It was about making a difference and leaving the world better than she found it. As the 2010s approached, Diana found herself at a unique crossroads. Her legacy was undeniable, her influence unparalleled, yet she continued to seek out new challenges and opportunities. She embraced her role as a matriarch, mentor, and cultural icon, balancing these responsibilities with her enduring love for music and performance. The years had brought their share of trials, but Diana's resilience and optimism remained as strong as ever. Through it all, Diana Ross remained a beacon of inspiration. Her ability to navigate the complexities of fame, family, and fortune with grace and determination set her apart. As she moved forward, her focus was clear: to continue creating, inspiring, and leaving a legacy that would endure for generations. Diana Ross had always been more than just a singer or actress. She was a symbol of strength, creativity, and the enduring power of dreams. With each step she took, she reminded the world that her story was far from over. As Diana Ross entered her 70s, she stood as a testament to enduring artistry and resilience. Decades of triumphs, challenges, and reinventions had shaped her into a figure whose influence extended far beyond music. Her legacy was cemented, but Diana was not content to merely look back on her accomplishments. Instead, she embraced this phase of her life with the same passion and determination that had defined her journey from the very beginning. Her performances during this time became even more poignant. While her voice carried the wisdom of years, it also retained the power and soul that had first captivated audiences. Her tours became celebrations of her legacy, drawing fans from across generations. Each show was a reminder that Diana Ross was not just a singer, but an experience, her charisma and connection with her audience as vibrant as ever. Songs like "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" and "Endless Love" resonated with fresh meaning, reflecting the depths of her life's journey. Beyond the stage, Diana continued to nurture her family. Her role as the matriarch of a growing family brought her immense joy. Watching her children thrive in their respective careers and her grandchildren grow into the next generation of the Ross legacy filled her with pride. Diana remained an active presence, offering guidance, love, and the values that had shaped her own life. Her family was her greatest treasure, and she cherished the time spent creating memories with them. Financially, Diana's decisions over the decades had ensured not only her stability, but also that of her family. Her investments in real estate, syndication royalties, and carefully chosen partnerships continued to pay dividends. Diana approached her financial planning with the same care and foresight she had brought to her career, understanding the importance of building a foundation that could support her loved ones long after her time. For her, wealth was not just about material gain, but about providing opportunities and security for the people she cared about most. Her connection to her fans also remained steadfast. Diana used social media sparingly but effectively, offering glimpses into her life and maintaining her connection with a global audience. Her occasional appearances at award shows, interviews, and special performances served as reminders of her enduring relevance. Each appearance was met with admiration, a reflection of the deep respect she had earned over the years. Diana's philanthropic work also continued to thrive. Her passion for giving back had not waned, and she remained committed to causes that aligned with her values. Whether it was supporting educational programs, advocating for health initiatives, or contributing to the arts, Diana's efforts left an indelible mark on countless lives. Her philanthropy was not just an extension of her success, but a core part of who she was, a woman who believed in lifting others as she climbed. As the world evolved, Diana embraced the opportunity to reflect on her legacy. She participated in documentaries and tributes that celebrated her career, sharing her story with honesty and gratitude. These projects offered fans an intimate look at the life of a woman who had achieved so much, not just in terms of fame, but also in breaking barriers and inspiring change. Diana's reflections were filled with gratitude for the journey she had undertaken, acknowledging the struggles and triumphs that had shaped her into the icon she had become. While Diana was mindful of the past, she remained forward-thinking. She continued to explore new projects that aligned with her passion for creativity and connection. Whether it was mentoring younger artists, developing new music, or simply finding ways to bring joy to her audience, Diana approached each endeavor with enthusiasm and purpose. She understood that her influence extended beyond her lifetime, and that the seeds she had planted would continue to grow for years to come. As she looked to the future, Diana's focus was on ensuring that her legacy was one of love, resilience, and empowerment. Her fortune, carefully built and nurtured over decades, was a reflection of her hard work and dedication. Yet, for Diana, the true measure of her wealth was not in the material but in the relationships she had cultivated, the lives she had touched, and the example she had set. Her family's emotional connection to her legacy was a testament to the profound impact she had made, both as a mother and as a cultural icon. Diana Ross had lived a life that few could imagine, filled with unparalleled success and moments of profound meaning. As she continued her journey, she did so with the same grace and determination that had carried her through every chapter of her story. Her light continued to shine brightly, illuminating a path that inspired countless others to dream, persevere, and believe in the power of possibility. For Diana Ross, the best parts of her legacy were not just what she left behind, but the lives she continued to enrich each and every day. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.